Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the World of Wayne. Today I'm going to be demonstrating the next mod from Mike Lane. This is a pretty amazing thing. This is the Bat Circuit Pro for the 1966 Batmobile. Now, just for transparency, Mike Lane has sent me the Bat Circuit Pro to take a look at, see what it does. If you want to know what it does, check this out. Now, this is available through Mike Lane Mods. I have put a link in the video description and there is also that QR code on the screen. But we're going to open this, look at the parts, and then we're going to install this into the Batmobile. So I've deliberately taken the circuit board out at the moment because I want that to be the last thing that you see. That's everything in the box. As you can see, we've got a remote control here. Leave that all wrapped up for a second. We've got a circuit board here, which has got a speaker built into it and leads. I've got a new Bat telephone looking like that with a wire on it. This is going to enable this to light up, I'm guessing. We've got some screws, a lead looking like this, and we've got a little light here, which I'm guessing is for one of the lights inside the interior section there. And this is the Bat Circuit Pro. This is the beating heart of this mod, looking absolutely brilliant. Now, check the version number. This is version 1.1, so if you have got a version down from this, it might look different. You won't have the little bat logo there. It is worth saying before we start any of these mods, do not touch those two buttons there. Just keep them away from your fingers. But that's how that looks. Now, we do get guides about what the remote does. And this board will connect to an app on your phone as well, which I'll go into in a second. We do have something following, which is the flames that are coming out of the turbine at the back there. And finally, we do have a guide just about magnet safety because there is magnets involved. And then the last thing we've got here, as you can see, is a USB-C charging lead, USB-C on one end. We've got a magnetic connection on the other. Now, if you're building the Batmobile from the start, then you can actually do this from stage 54. If you're like me and you're actually ahead of the game on that, you will need to take some things apart, and that's what we're going to do at the moment. But there is some tools we're going to need for that, and that is I'm using my usual PH0 and PH1 screwdrivers. And when we actually come to install the mod, you are going to need a 5mm wood bit. The reason we need a wood bit is, look, it's got a little sharp end on it. It will stop it moving around when we're actually drilling it. But we'll go into that when we get to that stage. Now, all the instructions to fit this are on the Mike Lane website. I have put a link to that in the instructions too. But the first thing we need to do is we need to access the circuit board that's already installed in the 1966 Batmobile. So the circuit board is actually located underneath the floor pan in this sort of area here. So we do need to remove this inner console. To do that now, we just need to remove these two screws here, 4 screws from underneath. And if you remember, we installed this steering wheel. This is actually attached here to the steering. So we need to take that out first. So if I turn the steering wheel, you can see how this is attached. We need to remove the screws from the top and the bottom to be able to remove that. This is probably going to be the fiddliest thing. So I'm going to put my magnifying glasses on for this. Now, I found the easiest way to remove that steering wheel is rather than detaching it from this section here, if you go down between the firewall and the floor pan here, you can get to the screw just there on that joint a lot easier. So that's where I'm going to disconnect it from. And there you go. With that out, I can now just remove the steering wheel. That was actually really easy. Take these 2 screws out here, which are holding the firewall to this internal section. These are flange screws. And then finally, turn the car over. And I am supporting that with my hand, and I just need to remove the 4 screws here, 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 and here. So once those screws are out, you see I can now remove this inner panel. I'm going to put that to one side. Now I do want to keep the orientation of where all of these wires are in here. So at this present moment in time, I've got the green and black, blue and black, another green and black, and the white and blue, I think that is. Oh, my colour blindness is terrible. Going out the back, I've got this grey and black coming out the side here. All the other cables are going towards the front. Now all of these cables are labelled up, and I'm double checking that they are all labelled up because I'm about to unplug them all. But the first things that we need to do is remove the things that we're no longer going to be using. So we're no longer going to be using the battery box, so we need to take that out. Now the battery box is cable B here. Let's get that one out. And I'm going to be removing the battery box here by taking out these 4 screws. Just like that. I can then just pop this panel out as well. We don't need that. We're no longer going to need the switch. So you can either just disconnect that or take it out. I'm actually going to take mine out. Now the switch is cable A. So putting that to one side. And then the other thing we're going to be taking out is the speaker, because we will have its own speaker. So let's just get this out. 2 screws here for the brace that's holding it in. Now the speaker is cable C, and that's removed as well. Okay, so now I'm just double checking that all the cables do have letters on them, because the letters on the cables here are going to mirror the letters on the new circuit board. Now I'm quite happy with them, so I am just going to disconnect now all of these leads. And as you can see, that's exposed the circuit board. Now to remove the circuit board, I need to remove these 4 screws. We are going to need to reuse these screws, so keep them safe. This is what the old circuit board looks like. I'm going to put that to one side. Now here is the new circuit board. As I said, do not touch these. Try to keep your fingers away from the antenna as well. It's shaped where this goes, so it can only go in one way. It's just going to fit into the cavity right there. And then I'm going to secure that down with those 4 screws that I've just removed. You only want to screw these in enough to keep it into place. You really don't want to make these tight, because you could risk damaging the board. Now that board's held in with 3 screws. You will have a screw left over. Now the next thing we're going to do is install this interface panel. Now this has got the port for the power. We've got a speaker built into this, and we have got a mini SD slot there. Now by default, when you get this from Mike Lane, the language is actually set to English, but if you do need to change that for any other countries, the instructions are on Mike Lane mods for you to do that. So we're back over this side now. I'm going to make sure I'm not trapping any wires at the moment, because I'm going to be putting this into place. Now this is going to be going in here. Let me just put it in gently just to show you. As you see, it fits the shape again, but I want to keep this lead here tidy. This is the speaker cable, so there's a little lip there, which will enable me to put this under the lip, so it's going to be coming up in the direction of the circuit board just there. Perfect. Now in the box we had these screws here. That's what I'm going to be using to attach this into position, and I need 4 of these. Now the speaker that I've just tucked under here has got a pre-installed extension cable on here, and because it's sound, it's going to go into the port labelled Bat Sound. Make sure your pins are the right way. Push that down. Now the next cable I've got here is the one coming from the micro SD card. That's going to be going into the port just there, which says micro SD. Very delicate, so make sure that you've got the pins around the right way, and push that in. So we've got 2 connected now. And then the last thing to do is this cable that came with it here. We want to put our finger just behind this magnetic connector here. Push this onto the top, which is the female version of it. And the other side is just going to go into the other side here. And that will now power the board. Now, if you have Mike Lane's bat beacon, that is going to go into the position just there. It doesn't matter if you don't have it, because you can just plug it into the normal connections, which are just around here. Now I'm going to put the car to one side, because I want to bring over now the internal floor pan. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this top section off to separate the dashboard from the interior floor pan. And as you see, that comes off easy, and it also gives me a chance to reattach my brake pedal, which had come off. Because I'm interested in this area here now, which is where the bat phone's going to go. If I just turn this over, you can see I've got a screw just here, and that screw is pretty much where I'm going to be drilling a hole. So let me just take that screw out, and I'm going to be putting a 5mm drill through this here to drill a hole all the way to the other side. And I will make short work of that because I have a drill press here. And as you can see, that's made a nice clean hole in there. Now this is what the bat phone looks like. A lot of detail in here, and it is magnetic as well, so you can actually lift up the receiver and drop it back down again, which is pretty cool. Okay, what I'm going to do is put this little JST connector through the hole we've just created. So it comes out the bottom. And then I just want to remove the stickiness on the back of this. That's perfect. They've got the actual telephone coil coming off into the passenger seat area. So I'll have it the same way and just stick that into position here. That's perfect. Now I'm just going to be putting this back on to the top here, because we're finished with that area now. So once again, just 2 screws here. And then the other thing we're going to change is just this light here, right at the back. So to get to that, I just need to remove this panel here, and I can do that by removing these screws just here. And as you can see, that comes away quite easily. Okay, so this is the interior lights that we're going to be changing. Now the lens stays, but we do need to remove this screw just here. This is the replacement light for it. And in the back kit, we do have a longer screw now, looking like this, which is going to be screwing this to the original lens that come with the build. So now that is one complete unit. I want to put this back in here, and I'm going to be tracing this wire down the back here. Once that's been traced down, just like that, I get to put this back into place. And it will pinch between those 2 sections, but that's going to be absolutely fine. And then just screw this back into place. Perfect, so we've installed the bat phone there, and we've installed this in light at the back here. Put that to one side. I'm just going to bring the car back over again now. And I'm going to start connecting all of these wires to the board now. So it's dead easy. Wire H is going to go into H, D is going to go into D, and we're just going to follow that all the way around.
A few moments later.
So all the plugs are in now. Now on the internal dashboard, I've now got 4 plugs, 2 coming from the dashboard, 1 from the bat phone, and obviously 1 from the light at the back. So I'm going to get all of these plugged in as well. So the light from the bat phone first is going to go into the port that says bat phone. I've got lights here M and K, which is the instrument lights and the detector scope. And then finally the back light that we just installed is going to go into SW. So everything is now connected. You will notice we've got a lot of empty ports. And that's because Mike Lane's already thought ahead. I think there's a dashboard mod coming. There is some future mods coming as well, which will mean you won't have to get another board. You can actually use the one in this kit. So before we put this all back together, and I'm just going to sit that in there, we will test the electrics now. So the remote is going to need batteries. Take this off. We need to put 2 AAA batteries in there. I'm just double checking that I've connected the speaker because we are going to get voice instructions when we turn this on to actually guide us through the setup process. Now I am going to actually display it like this just so I can see the bat circuit, because when I power this on, a red light should be coming on this. And I do have this now powered, and I'm just going to be connecting it to the magnetic slot of the power from underneath the vehicle. So that's going to connect to that port just there. And I don't know if you saw, but all the lights flashed.
Now in programmer mode. Press button 1 on your remote to start saving the button codes.
Did you hear that? It said press button 1 to start programming the remote codes. So what I'm going to do is take my microphone off my shirt, so you might be able to hear this now.
Now press button 3. Now press button 4. Now press button 5. Now press button 6. Now press button 7. Now press button 8. Now press button 9. Now press button 10. Now press button 11. Now press button 12. Saving codes to memory. You can now test each button. If you are happy they are correct.
Now when you've finished programming that, you can test all the buttons by just pressing them.
Button 1.
And it will tell you
Button 2.
what number
Button
you're
3.
pressing on each one.
Button 4. Button 7. Button 6. Button 7. Button 5. Button 8.
As you get the idea there. Okay, so when we unplug this and plug this back in, this is all set up to go. Well, I'm pretty confident with that. That was so easy. Okay, I'm just going to gently put this on top. Let's test these electrics now. So we do have a card in here, which is going to guide us through what each of these do. Okay, so we are now ready to go. I've turned the lights down a little bit now, because we're going to show you the startup sequence, powering it on, and what it actually does. So first thing I'm going to do, plug it in, which I've already done. I'm just going to be plugging it into the wall socket. And there we go. You saw the initial flash, and it's going to start to boot up now. And we are pretty much ready to go. Now, 1 and 2 on the remote control here operates on and off. So if I want to turn it off and press 1 again, there you go. It's just shutting it down. Press 1 again. It's going to turn it on. And as you can see, the dashboard light's on. The internal lights flashing there. We've got the side lights at the front on. Okay, let's press number 2. Number 2 is like a drive-by sound. And now number 2 has a different sound as well. If you keep your finger on it for 2 seconds, 1, 2. Oh, that's number 1. Let's try that again. 2, 1, 2. It plays sort of like a scene. Okay, press 3.
Moment. Time's too precious to spend with our admirers. We must get cracking.
And 3 can just cycle through the sounds every time I press it.
Come on, to the Batcave. We have it 1 moment. The Batmobile will do the rest. Right. Hey, listen. If anyone hears a sharp...
You get the idea. Number 4 turns the beacon on, as you can see there. And I am going to show you some things that will happen once I install Mike Lane's beacon. That's just the stock beacon there. Number 5, that's the computer. Number 6. Number 6 is going to cycle through the music modes. So we've got the theme tune, internet radio, and then the SD card, if there's any sounds on that. Number 7, if I go around the front here, is going to cycle through all the lights. So we've got headlights, Turn the side lights off to keep the headlights on. Turn the headlights off. And if we go around the back of the car here, as you can see, we can have the rear lights on there. So number 8, pressing that, turns on the brake lights. If I keep my long finger on press number 8, turns on those hazard lights. And number 9 is presentation mode.
Forgive me for interrupting, sir, but it's the bat phone.
And then talking of the bat phone, now the last 2 numbers here, 11 toggles the mute function and button 12 saves some of the settings. So a long press will open the bat Wi-Fi configuration and a 10-second press will activate USB mode. Now I tell you, I've had an enormous amount of fun playing with that. So obviously there's going to be some things that we can add to this later on. But another good thing is that it can actually link to the Wi-Fi. And when it's linked to the Wi-Fi, you can actually use what Mike lovingly refers to as the Bat Portal. So I've got it upside down. The first time you connect to the Wi-Fi, you want to press this button just underneath the SD card slot there. That will broadcast the Wi-Fi signal from the Batmobile so you can discover that on a laptop, or in my case, on a phone. Now on the website for this product, there is instructions, and there's comprehensive instructions of how to connect it to the Wi-Fi with all the instructions there. So you need to follow that. Once you've actually done that, you've got this actually connected to your home internet, you'll get an IP address. If you just press that button underneath once.
Bat portal active. My IP address is 192.168.1.159.
It reads out your IP address. So I've just typed that IP address into my phone here. And we are now in the Bat Portal. And you can do everything from controls to alarm settings. You've got a file manager there. You can even set the Wi-Fi up there. All these graphics on here. But I can control the car through everything you see on this app. Everything you see on the remote, it kind of makes the remote redundant once you've got this. Like perhaps when I put Call Batman, it's actually making my bat phone go off. Loads of graphics in here, but I thought I'd just show you the app because there's so much you can do on there. You've got the audio visual simulation panel, the Bat Sound console where you can play like SD, internet radio, skip forward tracks. Oh, there's just so much to do on here. Look at it. Excellent. You know, it's so hard to film this, but it is fun to watch me just playing with the app and I'm clicking punch and it's making a punch noise on there, or I'm saying call Batman and the bat phone is ringing inside there. As I said, we can have all the noises under the sun. Again, all controlled through here. We can set alarms on here. We can play music on here. It's just absolutely crazy. But that is fully installed. Now, I was gonna install the Bat Beacon, but you know what? I'm gonna keep that for another video just so I can show you how to connect that to the board as well, because that's coming. But that is looking pretty cool. I absolutely love it. But once again, if you want to get this for yourself, I have put a link in the video description and you've got that link down there and you can get this for yourself. And as I said, so easy to install, much more fun to play with, I have to say. Anyway, I really hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.